Perfect. Thank you. Yes, we are. We are Buddha in the makings, aren't we? Trying to get better, trying to improve.
Future Buddhas.
We are future Buddhas. That is exactly what it is. That is the beauty of it, because it's like we all have that. But the amount of times that we forget about it, or I think it's easy to count how many times we actually remember that. I think it's easy. How many times we kind of like really connect with that potential. It's very, very funny how we forget about it, because then the potential starts to become the opposite. It starts to become a bit of pride. Oh, I am better. I am like this. I am a Buddha, or I am a Buddhist. That happens quite a lot sometimes as well. So this ends up happening. And then what happens is that then even the spiritual path can become something different, right? This is very. We were hearing something about today. I was watching one of the teachings, and we were talking about pride. The five main um, delusions, or the five main negative mindsets that we have, and of course, pride is one of them. Because pride, in a way, is the attachment into ourselves, and it's a over exaggeration of our own qualities, but over exaggerated based in wrong view. When we think about it, Buddha nature, it's not an over exaggeration of our qualities, but it's a real capacity that we have. So you understand how it is different? One is something that is completely crazy, and the other one is based in reality, in cause and effect, that can actually, we can achieve that. The other one is not really achievable because it's just an illusion. Yes. Right.
Pride is mentioned in certain meditation,
Yes.
manifestation
Yes. In Tantra.
in Tantra.
Yes.
Tantra on pride.
Yes.
Like
Divine pride.
Right.
Very different.
I know. So
Yes.
can you
Yes, to talk about.
elaborate on that?
Yes, divine pride is very different than normal pride. And pride, we need to be careful, because also normal pride, let's say, it's not that it's bad. Okay? Like you can say, like, someone did something good and you say, wow, I'm so proud of you, right? That's good. That is okay. Or you did something good and you say, wow, you take your right hand, you put here and you say, well done, right? There's nothing wrong with that. Actually, I think sometimes, especially in the West, we should do that sometimes with ourselves. Give us the value of what we have done, right? But then there is that type of pride that is inflates our qualities and thinks that we are not only the center of the universe, that is for sure. We always think we are the center of the universe, but we think that we are the biggest, the better, the most beautiful person, and the center of the universe. So we do it another extra layer. So divine pride, when we are talking about that in Tantrayana, is that what is Tantra? Tantra means that you are bringing the result into the path. What that means? That means that you are seeing yourself as you were already enlightened. So the divine pride means when you are a Buddha, there is a pride, let's say it like that, which is not our conventional pride, but it is that kind of like blissful state of understanding what you can do for others. It's a is a very different attitude that we have right now, which is the always lacking and putting ourselves down, right? So it's always, we are always putting ourselves down. We always, something is missing in us. Oh, we should be like that, or we need to change. That kind of like, oh, everything was beautiful. I remember that, like now in the wedding, my brother's wedding, everything was just like, wow, beautiful. The food, everything. And then, of course, there's always the possibility of saying, but,
Yeah.
but, Like someone does an amazing piece of art. Yes, it's beautiful, but, or an amazing movie, but, that but that we have in ourselves, that if we are looking outside for the but, is because we are not pleased enough. There's something in us that is thinking that there is something that could be better, right? Divine pride is the completely satisfaction. Let's put it like that. There is no missing. So when you are doing the meditations on the Tantrayana, is that you are recognizing that nature in you, and you're trying to bring that about now, right? So you can start getting used, familiarize yourself with that mind. But that is why it's so dangerous. And Tantrayana, it's a graduate path and needs to kind of like be very well studied. Why? Because can you imagine you thinking, as we were playing now, jokingly say, I am a Buddha or I am an enlightened being. That can go, no? And some people did. Unfortunately, we have seen not only in Buddhism, but in other religions, in other kind of like schools, and especially in Buddhism, like people that did many things with that assumption, thinking that they were enlightened beings, getting like, abusive and getting advantage on people because of that mind, because they thought that they had it all, right? I got it. I got it. So you should come to me and I will give you all the answers. That is why what I was saying right now about doing the prostrations, it's so difficult for us when we say that we are actually asking for the Buddha and our teachers to help us and guide us. That's why guru devotion is such a difficult theme and topic in Buddhism in the West, also in the East in some ways, because the East becomes a little bit of how do we call that? Not a cult, but it's like a little bit too much of a, oh yes, okay, whatever the teacher says without thinking, right? With
Supposed to question.
So definitely, when you're supposed to investigate, that's the first thing in the Lamrim, Guru devotion. You need a teacher. You need someone to show you the path, the Lamrim, the path, the graduate path to enlightenment. You need someone, but you need to do that based on investigation, checking out. It's like, if someone comes to you, you say, I want to get there, and someone says, oh yeah, I'm gonna bring you there. You don't even know the person. You're gonna say, but who are you? Are you from here? You're gonna, ask a bit of questions. You're gonna say, no, 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 and then you're gonna feel a little bit more of security. How they say now, trust, because whatever the person is telling you and saying to you and acting is giving you trust. Then you're gonna say, okay, you can bring me there, right? So that is why, but the guru devotion is so important, because the guru will help us, especially when we go to the Tantrayana, to identify ourselves with this mind, which is, the enlightened mind of the Buddha. Seeing ourselves as a deity, as a Buddha, very dangerous. So if you have someone that you're trusting that will guide you, and this person is just saying, "Oh yes, you come and do that, but you need to come give me money. You need to do this. You need to do that. You need, But many times that happens because the mind is so desperate. We are so desperate. It's very funny because if you think about it, we are very individual individualistic, self-sustainable, me, I know what is best, I know how to take care, I don't need help, and blah, blah, blah. At the same time, we are craving desperately for God, Jesus, Papa, Buddha to come and save us. You understand what I'm saying? It's ingrained in our minds. We don't even realize. That is why sometimes it's so hard Buddhism in the West, because of that connection. You know? That connection with people saying, oh, the Buddha is like a god. The teacher is like, we know you should do whatever the teacher says. No, especially me, as I say, don't do anything I say, investigate. But that is the main teachings of the Buddha. The Buddha said this himself. That was when I said, okay, I want to try this. Because when I read that the Buddha used to say, investigate my teachings like it was gold. Gold. You kind of like chew it, bite it, or you kind of like really try it. Because if someone is gonna give you a payment and they give you oh, this is gold to pay, you're gonna say, wow, I need to see how much is this gold is true, right? How much it is, how or this is fake, especially nowadays we have so many fake things. So you need to check. So it's the same thing. You guys need to check. We need to check. So that is why the divine pride comes from there, from understanding our potential and living and connecting and relating right now with that potential, as if we are like we start to see ourselves as the deity. Therefore, we don't see ourselves with mistakes, with this mistaken view that we see ourselves. Why it's so hard? It's very hard, the tantra, because it's really go against our mind that is always thinking about me, and then things like that. Okay. So as as an introduction, we always need it's on, no? Yeah, it's taking some time. Also because of the sun here. Boom. So let's do a short motivation to start, and then we're gonna do some prayers. I know there's not Nana is not there. So okay, but we do some prayers. So we just take a moment to generate a positive intention for being here. Huh? Yeah, you can do it. You go start doing it while we do the motivation. Huh? So thank you, Jack. So we just take a moment to check our motivation for being here. Especially with this interdependency aspect of really needing some help. And I'm not saying that I can help anyone, because I need to work on myself first in order to help others. So that is why, in some ways, we are here. Because not only we want to check our minds to find a bit more of less suffering, find some happiness, but especially that if we do that, we are able to better help others. So whatever we do today, whatever we listen to, whatever we talk, whatever we contemplate, meditate, let's investigate and make sure that it's aligned with this wish to be free from our sufferings, to open our hearts, improve ourselves as better human beings, and especially if it helps us to help others in a more efficient way, going to the root of the problem, which is our mind. And for that, we're gonna do some prayers, and so we can start by asking for help for the Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, because the Buddhas, they are always there. We just don't see them, and we don't actually ask for their help. It's like, you know, if we don't ask, they cannot really help us because of karma. If we don't create the causes and the conditions for this to happen, then they cannot do it. So we can visualize the Buddha in front of us, beautiful, golden in color, made of light. his right hand. He's sitting with cross-legged, Vajra posture, as we say. He has a cushion of the sun and the moon and sitting on a lotus, meaning that he conquered, that he renounced his mind, that he achieved bodhicitta, and he realized emptiness. That's what these things represent. And his right hand is touching the floor or the cushion to indicate that he mastered his mind and all his afflictions. And on the left, he has a bowl full of nectar, or representing the good qualities that he can share with others and help others to develop their own good qualities. So special, so kind. He he look at us with a beautiful, peaceful smile, non-judgmental attitude, accepting and loving us just as we are. And for those that want, you can visualize around the Buddha all the merit field, all the other Buddhas and Bodhisattvas, Dakas, Dakinis, Dharma protectors. And surrounding you, you can visualize all sentient beings, all your friends, people that you like behind you, your enemies and those that you have difficulties in front of you, so you don't forget about them as well. And all other strangers surrounding you. And we're going to do prayers, which are aspirations to help us remind ourselves to open our hearts, to ask for help on our path until Buddhahood. We can read the prayer together. You already there? Page 98? Okay. Normally, we start, I think, on 34 first, please. Yes. Page 34, the four immeasurables. Yes. You make them bigger a little bit. Just do it like, maybe this doesn't do it like this. Jack, if you want to try like this with your hands. Yeah, very good. Yeah, you get that? Very good. Up, down. Yeah, there you go. May all sentient beings have happiness and the causes of happiness. May all sentient beings be free from suffering and the causes of suffering. May all sentient beings be inseparable from the happiness that is free from suffering. May all sentient beings abide in equanimity, free from attachment for friends, hatred for enemies. Now you go to page 98. Generating the idea of asking for help.
Sorry.
Okay. If you go with two fingers like this, no, like this, Jack,
Yeah.
Jack,
Yeah.
use two fingers like this. Go up. Yes, there you go. Up. There you go. That's but yes. So we just recognize the visualization again, and while we are doing these prayers, we can just see light rays coming up, coming from the Buddha, and touching us and all sentient beings, not only purifying our minds, but giving us the blessings or the necessary causes and conditions to achieve Buddhahood as well. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. I go for refuge until I'm enlightened to the Buddha, the Dharma, and the Supreme Assembly. By the merits I create through listening to the Dharma, may I become a Buddha in order to benefit all sentient beings. Sangye chodan soki chonam la janju bardu dani kyapsu chi dagi chunye ki pe sonam ki drola panche sangye drupar sho. Oh yeah, very good. So we continue with our book. Thank you so much, Jack. So today I'll try to talk about the contents of the chapter 5. We are getting there. I hope that until the end, when I leave, at least we can finish one book. Either this book or the one on Sunday. Because then next time we can come, I can do another book. You don't need to leave. Well, we'll see. We'll see. But then the chapter 5 is called The Problems That Desire Brings. Very, I think, important for us. Desire. No, I think none of us know what desire is. We are totally free from desire. No? And problems? No. Desire, when we get whatever we desire, we only have happiness, right? That's how we think. We don't believe it's very funny because when we say like this, we don't believe it. But when we act totally the opposite. We act believing that, oh, if I should only get that, if I only get this, if I only that this. And that's how we go. We go around in our lives seeking happiness, seeking desire, fulfill our desires. And then we want happiness, which is that side of the road, and we go to the other side of the road. We get exactly the opposite. Why? How? Give me an example. Because it's an illusion. Yeah, this is easy to say. Because it's an illusion. Yes. Because it's garbage from our mind. It's garbage from our mind. And where this garbage is coming from? And why our thoughts are creating garbage? Our thoughts should be our friends. Not with negative. Not with negative side? But where comes the negative side? I need help, specialist. You need to check, right? That's what I'm saying. I'm here debating myself. That's what what I need to do. I need to debate with our ignorance. Yes, but what that means, that is very easy to say. But before, let's say that we have no idea about what emptiness is, and we just say to someone, the problems that desire brings. Desire brings problem. How we explain this to someone? How would we explain to someone that following your desires bring happiness? Because if you go to anywhere in the world and if you watch anything, it's the opposite, right? As Rinpoche used to say that every movie, everything is about getting what desire wants, right? That's what it is about. Every movie, every Netflix series, everything that we have nowadays, even coaching, even psychologists are wanting to get people to develop the ways to just get what they want, right?
Impermanence dictates that the happiness will not last. And that then entails suffering.
That is definitely a very special thing. But how do you say to someone that doesn't see this and says, but whenever I have what I want, I am happy?
If you don't have it, what happens? That's not true. But when you
What do you
don't
mean,
have it,
don't,
what
is not
happens?
true? What is not true?
It's not every time I thought that getting what I wanted
Yes.
would make me happy.
Yes.
It didn't. I mean, it did temporarily, but
Yes.
it failed every time.
Yes. You always have that wish of, oh, I want more, or I want something else, right?
What happens
That
when the chocolate runs out?
dissatisfaction, exactly. When the chocolate, when the key lime pie, yeah, when you run out of key lime pie, but that is exactly the point that we start to see. And that's what I've been studying a little bit more about the new generations, because I'm very interested to see some of the patterns of the new generations, especially some things that people have been saying about, the new generation don't want to commit to work, or they want to kind of, and I'm starting to say, well, I think actually because they are getting that desire, bringing what they think that they want, it's not really going to get it. And especially when whatever they desire is not really something that is coming from them, right? It's a little bit more imposed of society. So then it becomes easier to see. But then what is happening is that people then think to say, oh no, I'm not going to have the 9 to 5 job, and I'm going to be a nomad and travel the world and I'm going to be happy. And this happened in the 60s, right? The the first students of the lamas, they were the famous hippies, that left everything. I left everything and I want find happiness, and I'm gonna travel and I'm gonna do this. And they went all the way to Nepal and India, and they were traveling already, and they were not happy until they started to talk with these crazy lamas that used to say to them, well, but just because you're looking in the wrong place. And actually, every time you follow the mind of desire, what is happening to you? Dissatisfaction is cheating on you. Rinpoche used this word I loved. Cheat. It cheats on you. Yes, it's true. It is cheating on you. Why? Because it doesn't get what we actually want. So then here is very important that we need to understand when desire comes up is that there is like, let's say, a layer of desire, which is just the instant happiness, right? That desire is trying to get us. But what we are trying to do is to achieve a lasting happiness. Fulfill our desire for the last time, let's say like that, right? That's what we are trying to do when we are looking for something. When we go into a relationship, we say, oh, this person is forever. We say that, right? This person is forever. Why? Because of the idea of forever. That's what we want. We want forever. That's why Disney was so famous, with Disneyland, with it, like Disney, the cartoons and all of that, the movies. Because what he was creating was, and they were a happy ever after, right? That's what we want. He touched something that is true. And when we are kind of like eating, and when we are getting the job, and when we are getting the house, and that is the feeling we are running to. That's what we want to achieve. But that's not what happened. And not only this, it just doesn't give us what we want, but brings us problems. In what way it brings us problems? How?
Drama, like
Drama.
nonsense.
Yes, definitely drama. There's a lot of drama in the world because of following desires and not getting what we want, and then frustration, no? Depression. We talked about that in the Spanish class yesterday. We were talking about anger. We did an entire class on anger. It was very nice. especially, the Spanish, the Latinos, we need this, we need a bit of dealing with our anger.
Is it okay to be angry at a soccer match?
Exactly, in Brazil, soccer. The thing is that there are several things that make us these when we are seeking the desire that creates problems. And one of the main ones is while we are seeking the desire, while we are trying to get what we want, we create negative karma. And as here, it's a place that we all already heard the word karma. I can say that. I cannot just say, oh, we create. No, it's karma, creates negative karma. What that means. An example. We are sleeping very comfortable in our air conditioning and something like this. And then there's that little noise. Then just goes here and starts to, it just comes here, So what happens? We want comfort. We want to be good, comfortable in our beds, cozy over there. So what we do? Bah! We kill the mosquito immediately. We clearly know by now, because of studying the Dharma, that killing is a negative karma. So we don't even think about it. We don't even feel what we are doing because we had just one goal, our own comfort, our desire for comfort. Yes, yeah, it's okay. It's okay. It's okay in the sense of like, that's how we are. That's what we are, right? But not only these, like if we think about it in our jobs, in our daily lives, we do so much lying sometimes without even realizing. Just to keep our reputation, to keep our lives, to keep people like wanting us, liking us, doing this. Right? So we say, as some of you, I think maybe you have learned about the 10 non-virtues, right? The 10 non-virtues actions on karma. Probably you heard about that. But they are, the actions that we do with our mind, with our speech, and with our body. So things like, for example, killing, right? Or another with the speech, lying, or with our mind, jealousy or covetousness. Covetousness, we say, yeah? Covetousness, kind of like desiring something from someone. So these are actions that we do with our body, speech, and mind that create negative karma. It's easy to see. Why? Because they are tendencies and habitual patterns that are totally selfish, totally thinking only about me, and outside of reality, right? So whatever we are doing when we are looking for our own happiness and our own desires, fulfilling our desires, normally we have no space to think about others. So what we do, we create more negative karma. And this is exactly the opposite of what we want when we are wanting to achieve the desire, to get the object of desire, to fulfill our desire. We want happiness. But if we are creating more and more negative tendencies, negative seeds, planting negative seeds in our minds, it's impossible for us to get what we want, which is lasting happiness. You understand what I'm saying? Does it make sense? It's like a bit mathematical. It's like, I want happiness now and I want happiness in the future forever. But whenever I'm thinking only to fulfill the happiness of now, I am creating a lot of negative karma. Negative karma is negative seeds. I'm creating negative seeds. That means that my future is going to be suffering because I'm creating the karma for that, to experience that again and again and again. And now, whatever we want, even though we might get what we want, we don't enjoy it so much because it's gone. And because what we did sometimes to get what we wanted, right? We killed people, or, well, normally not in our daily lives, but but maybe we can kill people, we lie to people, you know, we do things bad to people just to get what we want. Wow. So we don't actually enjoy. Doesn't taste good what we actually want. So that is what we need to understand by the problems that desire brings. This is one of the main problems. The second main problem is that we waste our potential. When we are blindly seeking only desire objects and happiness and comfort, immediate desire, immediate, like fulfillment of whatever we want, it's like we are acting like animals. As I said, I'm not here to be polite and and how do you say correct, politely correct. It is. You're just wanting to fulfill our immediate needs, like a dog, like anything else. But that is the potential of being a human being. It is that we want. Is that what we can be? How we had some people like Buddhas, like Jesus, like Madre Teresa, or what they had different than us, to be honest. They were just human beings, right? We do have this potential. Is that lack of believing in our own potential that we were talking in the beginning of the class today? Is not believing that we can do this. But all of you can. All of you are this potential every once in a while to people in your life. Whenever you reach your hand, whenever you are there for the persons that you like and that you love, whatever you are helping someone in need, whenever you are being that person, you are being the Buddha, you are being like that incredible person. So don't come with me and say that no, this is just for these. Oh yeah, but these people don't work like me, don't have a family like me, don't have all these things. These are excuses because you're already doing that. And we have the potential to do even more to even more people, to even deeper ways of helping. That is the thing that we talk about in Buddhism. Yes, we should help others with food, with shelter, with many different things, with a hug, with your ears for people to listen, for people to talk, and we just listen. But the best way we can help them is helping them to recognize their own minds so they can transform it. So they can be free from suffering. So they can develop their qualities, so they can open their hearts. What else? What else what is better than that? Because if we do that, we don't need to do all the other things. We don't need to help with shelter, with food, with this and that. The person will be able to do that by themselves. So yes, Luciana, please.
About our desires. I'll speak for myself.
Yes, please.
So I may have a desire to be free from not feeling well. I have bad allergies. So my desire is to be free from this.
Yes, very good. Yes, very good.
So, okay, so I try to think about others who are suffering from bad allergies.
Yes.
They not suffer.
Yes.
But how do I help myself?
Uh-huh.
So for me, most of the desires are, I'm not saying I'm a perfect person, but I'm not like, I have to have this or that.
Yeah.
Most of it comes from, things like that.
Yes.
things like that.
Yeah.
So
So the best way to actually help yourself in this is if you make the, because the motivation in a way is what you're saying is I want to help myself. And that's not necessarily bad, right? But if you can expand that motivation, then it becomes even better for you because let's say dilutes the heaviness of it. How? By thinking, oh, if I am feeling better, I am able to help more people. If I don't have these allergies that right now for me it's a pain, right? And it's something that kind of like doesn't allow me to get out of my mind, to makes me kind of like be worried about this and that, which is totally normal. If I cannot do that, so if I can get out of this, if I can read myself of this, that means I can help others better. So then, if you need to take medicine, you're gonna take. If you need to do this, you're gonna do it. If you do, because it's not only about you. It's exactly the same thing as when you have some people that you're gonna do a course together, or you're going to the gym buddy, or you're gonna travel together. It's not, that you're going to someone else. So it's not only about you. So you wake up earlier, or you kind of like get yourself out of bed to go to the gym because you know that there's someone out there waiting for you, right? It's the same thing. You're gonna try to get yourself better. So that means you're gonna rest if you need to rest. You're gonna sleep if you need to sleep. You're gonna drink if you need to drink whatever water, how many liters of water you need to drink. You're gonna take the pills. You're gonna eat well. You're gonna do everything well to get better as sooner as possible because sentient beings are out there waiting for you. You understand? This transforms completely one thing that in some ways look very individualistic and selfish, but it can be your best practice of, benefiting sentient beings, compassion, love, bodhicitta. That is how it is. That is how the potential of the mind, because it's just a perception. Right now, the perception is only about us, and then we start to think about but then when you can do that, because then if you have that in mind, also those things that is going to be like, oh no, but people will think that I am like, oh, people, I shouldn't be sleeping until late. I shouldn't be doing that. I shouldn't. No, you're just going to do whatever it is needed for you to getting better so you can help others. It's kind of like a freedom in some ways. You understand? You want to close the curtains? Close the curtains if it is too much for you. If it is, yeah, no, it is, yeah, exactly. I see it. Yeah, the sun is moving. It's very weird. So that is why how precious like situations can be for us, and especially difficult situations like this, right? Because then we can transform problems into happiness, as we say. Then we welcome problems. Then we get sick. It's like, yes. Something goes wrong in our lives, and you're like, yes, you start to welcome problems. That is what we call the bodhisattva. Bodhisattva is that person who is practicing in developing bodhicitta, in realizing bodhicitta, the wish to achieve enlightenment to help others. So the bodhicitta attitude in the bodhisattvas, they want to achieve enlightenment very quickly. So they want to train their minds and to purify their minds of their self-cherishing or their wrong views fast. So whatever it is that is happening is, yes, right? We become enthusiastic when things like that happen. We can transform. We can kind of like use the most difficult aspects of our lives and the situations that we have in order to transform into Dharma. If we are able to do this switch, right? To turn the key and say, my perception now is only about me, my comforts, my 8 worldly dharmas, my comforts of this life, my this and that, my only that, right? And that is as you were describing, is like it's uncomfortable to be feeling this. And that is absolutely fair. But if we are using this just to think about me, it's a waste of our time and waste of our potential. Because you battled in a way of you did so much in order to be here as a person in this life and listening to these things and being able, to transform yourself. And just thinking about you becoming just a healthy person for you to enjoy, like, driving your car without, like, a convertible car. I'm not saying that you have that, but, like a convertible car, so you can kind of like feel that. That's a waste, right? It's just a waste. This is one of the things that I feel that humanity is losing, is those human values that makes us so unique and special human beings. To be a human being. To be a human being is an incredible experience. But not because we can enjoy watching as much Netflix as we want or eating as much chocolate as we want. It's not about that. It is about these incredible feelings that we can experience by exchanging with others. Even animals feel that, So many animal videos or documentaries about animals having feelings, experiencing you, especially mother animals, no? Wow. It's very similar to us. So if they can develop that and they can feel that, but they are limited because of their mind, the brains, not the mind, but the brains, and how their minds is manifesting, let's say like that, because of their bodies. So they are suffering because of that. They cannot, but we have everything. We have a brain that is like a machine, like a computer that can do so many things, that can make us do and accomplish so much. Look around us, how much we accomplished. How much we can even accomplish more if we put our mind into helping others. Do you think we would really have problems if all humanity would just think about how helping others, how to help others, how we can help others? Oh, okay, there's a new disease called cancer. Okay, all the people in the planet will just think about it, Can you think about it? Or all the people who can do that, right? Oh yes, we're gonna think about that. Oh yeah, oh yeah, oh yeah. Oh, but then we have these that kind of like kills these people if we do this. Oh, how we can make it? Oh yes, because all of these that we are using in food, all of these uh, pesticides and all of that is killing people and making this. Oh, okay, so let's create something that is not gonna kill people. No, we don't think about that. We think, how do I make more money so I can have three different houses and have a private jet and be by myself? No, I'm okay in my private jet. Let the world explode. Wow. Who are we becoming? Right? This is the waste of our potential. This is when we are just following the mind that grasps to these desires. And as we said, not only we are creating negative karma, but the result that we want, it's never there in the finish line. We get the private jet. In 2 years, there's another private jet that we want. Or there's a yacht, it's a boat, and then there's a bigger yacht and a bigger yacht and a bigger yacht. That's it. And then you can make $1 million, then $10 million, then $100 million. Oh, but this person has 1 billion. I want to have 1 billion, and then 1 billion. Then you have 100. There's someone. There's, I don't know, 3, 4, 5 people in this world that has $100 billion. That's it. Now I want more. Now I want 200.
They gotta eat.
Exactly right. They have to eat. Only if they eat only cash, that's what they eat, right? You understand? The mind of the desire is just creating problems. All society problems that we have is because following the mind of desire. So how we can help these people? We need to work on ourselves. We need to work on ourselves. We need to become Buddhas. There's no other way. And then we become Buddhists, and we come back and we become president of the US. I'm already voting for you guys. Do you understand? That is the way. We need to do something with ourselves first so we can help people to do the same. So we need to be free from our own desires, understand where is our mind. Oh, but I'm still here, I'm still there. Yes. So use this to transform your mind. Use this to not waste your potential. But we need to start with ourselves. That is why Buddhism sometimes is seen as a bit of a selfish philosophy, because it thinks a lot about themselves, people say. Oh, people go up to the mountains and they meditate by themselves and they don't want to see about anyone and things like that. Not really. Because if you are doing properly, if you're really practicing Buddhism, whatever you're doing up in the mountains or doing retreat 1, 2, 3 years, not talking to anyone, is that you're working with your mind. The moment that you leave, you're really able to transform people just by your speech, just by the way you are, just by the way you look at people. That was the stories of the Buddha are very special, especially, because we have different times when they tell the stories of the Buddha, but like when the Buddha was enlightened, and then when he was giving teachings, and the sutras, some of these sutras they say, and then the Buddha gave a short teaching, and all of these people got enlightened. Why? Because their minds were much more pure than ours now, much less deluded, and we accumulated so much negative karma in the habit. At the time of the Buddha, they would talk, and then you would be. And then you see people meeting the Dalai Lama. I remember my mom. I was living in Dharamsala in 2018, 19, something like that. Rinpoche, one of those that Rinpoche got to me. He said I was staying this place, beautiful place, most beautiful place, very special place called Ling in Spain, and I loved it. I really like it there, and I think that's why Rinpoche told me to leave. You're getting liking too much. You're looking you're liking too much. It's a very special place, and and then I was there, and Rinpoche says, oh, it's a big story, but Rinpoche says, you have life obstacles, you need to leave. Otherwise, you might die in 6 weeks. And I was okay, okay, Rinpoche, okay, I leave, no problem. And I said, oh, what should I do, Rinpoche? And Rinpoche said, oh, maybe go study Tibetan in India, in Dharamsala, but not in a course that we have. And I said, okay, so I went, and it was very nice. I did everything but learning Tibetan. It was very good, but and my mom came, and I remember she came to see His Holiness. We went to see His Holiness teachings, and in Dharamsala, His Holiness has this beautiful place, his palace or his temple, and everybody comes, for the teachings. There's like 3,000, 4,000 people, so it's very like busy, and we were just in a little place, and His Holiness was going to pass through us. My mom was there, just like waiting, just really, really, she really wanted, she read the Dalai Lama books long time ago, and then His Holiness stopped and just gave her a little wave, and she started crying, but crying and crying, and she had to sit down, and there was this old little Tibetan lady, so nice, taking care of her, because it was the power of the mind, the pure mind of His Holiness. It was just touching her and touching so many. I saw this so many people in this, like, past 10, 12 years, people meeting the Dalai Lama, and just because of the way he looks at you, something moves, something changes. So we can be like that for others. We can become those beings that people, just by thinking about us, feel lighter, or feel that there is hope, or feel that there is, they want to become better, right? This is what we can do. But for that, we need to control our minds. We need to understand, we need to control our mind. And the Buddha, know that very famous phrase that says, commit only virtuous actions. So that means we try our best to only do things that are positive qualities. And he says, don't commit negative actions. So that means don't create the karma and the negative karma for yourself, because you're going to suffer now and you're going to suffer, make others suffer, but especially tame your mind or control your mind. This is the teachings of the Buddha. And it's because of that. If we don't control our minds, we are not doing our job. And in Buddhism, one of the most, the techniques that we use is the creation of vows. The vows in Buddhism are not to punish people, are not to say, No, they are tricks of the mind, or mind trainings, as we say, to help us. And the vows, they are not only, we have what we call the Praktimosha, which is self-liberation vows. We have what we call the Bodhisattva vows, which is the compassion vows, the vows that we make with ourselves to help others. And we have the tantric vows, which is, I want to help others, but I want to help others fast, quick, the fastest I can. That's why it's harder. It's a kind of like a graduate path. And then in the Praktimosha vows, when we say the self-liberating vows, we have lay vows. So for people that are not monks and nuns, and monks and nuns vows. So these vows, they have different kind of like layers because they help us. They help us. And that is the beauty as well. I remember when I was thinking about becoming a monk, I said, oh, but these vows, and until someone said, well, but you don't need to do it. Nobody's telling you that you need to become a monk. And that for me was a bit like, stupidly, of course, but it was, oh, I need to understand the vows. I need to understand how these vows are something that are going to help me, nobody else. Here, forget. I'm talking about my own liberation when we are talking about these vows, right? Then we add the liberation, the compassionate vows, the Mahayana vows, the Bodhicitta vows, the Bodhisattva vows. But first, we need to understand that we want to get rid of these minds that are completely taking control of myself. So I started to see and say, wow, if I follow these minds, I'm completely useless. I don't have any discipline. I don't do this. I only do that. I'm only craving for outside. I'm craving for money, for success, and I'm just waiting for that, wasting that. So what are the vows that can help me, that can train my mind, that I can use? I take the vows and I use the vows against, let's say like that, my own negative tendencies. That's what the vows are. Right? So they are kind of like ideas to help us to say, wait a minute, I know myself too well, and I cannot do by myself. I need something external, some people externally that needs to help me. And the vows, they come from outside, because that's why the Buddha created those vows. He said, oh, we need to help. We need help. His teacher, his disciple said, his students. And he said, okay. So here are the vows that you need to follow. So you don't follow the mind of desire, the mind of attachment, the mind of anger. So these vows, they are something that helps us to not waste our potential. They are kind of like a set of rules that helps more and more and more control and understanding of our minds based in understanding and reality, not in blind faith. Is this the only path for everybody? God, no. No. We are in different steps of the path. We are in different ways of dealing with our minds. Our minds have different ideas, so we don't need everybody to follow the same path, right? This is one of the things that for me was also very freeing. And I started to understand that depends on me. It's my decision. And it's not for everybody. I don't need to say here to be here uh, kind of like saying, oh yes, you should all become monks and nuns. Oh yeah, the vows are the best days. Oh yes, come here, my son. Not like that. If you have interest, if you tell me that this, you go and you study, you're gonna learn about it. You go, you try, you ask your teacher if this is gonna be something that then you just. But what happens is that people ended up using the vows instead of a tool to help, but a prison. And then people ended up being unhappy. And then I always say, so I prefer you to be happy, but continue in the Dharma, than being a completely unhappy person, but actually not practicing Dharma. Right? So many monks and nuns, they disrobe, they leave their vows after some years because of that, because they're not happy. Because they didn't use those vows in a way to help them. That's fine. You shouldn't be judging them. You're not here to judge. But we are here to help them. Because if we start to look into our lives, because that's what we can see, it's almost that there is this, when we follow the desire and then we start to feel it and we start to see it, it's almost that we get bored at some point. You're just bored. Like, and then what I go, I go shopping. Then what I go watch a movie. Then it's just the same thing. It's just again and again. So when you start to get bored, that's a good sign. Because it's like the mind of the grasping is starting to lose its power. And then you can start using your body, speech, and mind to do what we are all born to do. Because we are sentient beings, and we are, as His Holiness says, we are social beings. Because when we start to let it go of following only the mind of desire to fulfill my needs, and I start to look outside and I start to check. There's all these people, all of these animals, all of these beings suffering as well. And I can help them. I have a body, I have a mind, I can talk, I'm smart, I can do so many things. So then our lives start to become so meaningful. Everything in our lives become meaningful. We don't need to become monks and nuns to do that. We can stay and do it from where we are. We can be incredible architects, incredible IT people, person. I don't know what it is. You, him, Jack. I don't know what you do. I just know it's like some type of IT. It. Yes. So we can do whatever we want. We can continue doing what we're doing, but we can do it in a different mindset. In a mindset that is going to help others. In a mindset that is going to have others as also our priority, not only our own priority. It's just moral. It's just human. It's not something like, how can I say, that only Buddhism talks about. All the religions and even non-religions, that's what the moral values were about. It's like we have a set of values that is about being a human being. And being a human being, it is to help others. Like, period. Nothing else. So we shouldn't lose that. We should actually use then our spiritual path to develop this more and more. Because then the spiritual path can take us into that and even beyond. It can make us expand this love, this potential into unbelievable ways. And then the impact we can bring on people is absolutely special. Absolutely special. That is very, very, very courageous to do. That is living life and using our times, our precious potential. That's what the Buddha was trying to tell us. That's what he just wanted. He didn't want anything. He didn't want all of this, in a way. But we need these things in order to help us transform our minds. We need, guidance. We need teachings. We need a place. We need conditions. We are not there to we just think and we just swift our mind. We can just transform it. We can just say, oh yeah, okay. Now I'm gonna also think about others. Not like that. In the beginning, it's a bit of a fight against our, self-cherishing. And then we start to say, "Ah, fighting is not gonna work. Embrace it. Understand it. Understand your own needs. Understand where it's coming from. Understand the nature of your suffering. Understand the eight worldly dharmas. Understand how we are mistakenly wanting to find happiness outside. Make sense?
I'm reading something today
Yes.
by Mother Teresa
Right.
in Calcutta. And she said, I exhort you to continually pray and meditate, prayer and meditation, so that you can feel, and she used God.
Yes, but perfect.
And she said, so you can feel the presence and the love of God
God, yes.
for you.
Yes.
Because when you feel filled with that,
That's it.
then you can help.
That's it. That's exactly this. This is one of the things that I found that is like in all the traditions and all this, the stories of the saints. I love, for example, I'm a huge fan of Saint Francis, right?
Oh, yeah.
Like, wow.
Oh, absolutely.
I love that. I'm supposed to go and watch it with Jackie, one of these days. Mother, no, sister, no, brother, son, sister, moon is a very old movie about, but beautiful, beautiful story about the story of Saint Francis. And then you read about Mother Teresa, and you don't, and then you read the saints, the Buddhist saints, and then you read, kind of like the Jewish, and then all of the different traditions, they're all the same in a way. They say, if you have God or if you have that connection with your own potential, when you're living from there, there's you have infinite energy, you have infinite, passion, you have infinite kind of like a strength, you have, everything. You use your body, speech, and mind for that. That is the beauty of it. And when we are in the presence of people like this, the beauty that they bring to us, normal sentient beings, it makes us believe it's possible. And that is one of the things that we don't say so much in Buddhism because people can misunderstand. But I'm a little bit of a rebel, so I don't care. But it is that it's not with that intention so much, but it's a result, which is we can and we need to become role models for people, right? People need role models. That's what they makes them believe, have trust, have faith, encourage them to say, and also do that, right? So in some ways, that is kind of like our responsibility. I remember when I was leaving my job, I was, we had like 10 partners, business partners, and, I was nothing. I was just very small. We were just, and there was the big part and the big associated. And I went to speak to each of them individually because I was very good friends with them. And I was working in this private equity finance thing. And one of them, I remember, she looked at, it was the only woman, she looked at me and she had this face of like, I don't know what to say to you because it's so foreign for me, this idea that you would leave this life and do something like, because I just said, I need a break and I don't know what I want to do. I just need to leave. And She couldn't see that, right? The other one, which is a very good friend of mine, and he was a sponsor, as he used to give me some money every month, so kind for a few times. And then he started to cry. And I said, "Why are you crying?" He said, "Because I admire the courage you are having to do that." And I remember that I never, when I was doing that decision, I was not thinking about the impact for them on a good way. I was more worried about like, oh, they're gonna hate me or something like that, you know? But actually, for him, there was such a good impact. You know, and nowadays, every time I go to Brazil, we talk, and he kind of like, you know, it's just a different connection. And he's looking for his own path nowadays. And she totally transformed. She left the job after 4 years. She's on a totally different way. She's living in Europe now, happy. Very different, very different.
She found happiness.
She found that. Definitely. Because she had to go inside, right? She had to go inside to really check what was happening to her. Because she was the only woman in a very male society. So she was so hurt with herself that she had to heal that, which was what we are talking about. We need to heal ourselves so we can actually help others. Because if we are still bleeding, how can we help others? Right? We need to be on this best of our strength to be able to help others. That is how Rinpoche was so special. I was talking with some people recently because Rinpoche was just like, wow. It was this, like, it looks like a movie, you know? It looks like it didn't exist. Now that Rinpoche is not here anymore, sometimes it just feels like, really? I really experienced those things with Rinpoche? Because Rinpoche was just that. It was every single aspect of his body was to help others. He would not lay down, he would not sleep, right? And he would just be there looking and doing prayers and doing things. And then some people, so many stories that people receive phone calls or emails or letters, like out of the blue, with Rinpoche saying, "Oh, you need to do this and this because that and that might happen." And some people would ignore and would happen, whatever Rinpoche was saying, right? So we have that potential as well in our minds. Because that is one of the qualities when we go advancing on our ways, on our path, which is omniscience. And omniscience means we are able to see the mind of others. And this is the most powerful tool we can do to help them. Why? Because if our intention is to help them, because when we become a Buddha, we already perfected the wish to achieve enlightenment to benefit others. So whatever manifests from us, it's only that manifestation. There's no other. We kind of like perfected that, and that became who we are, only benefiting others. And the Buddha has the knowledge to understand that benefiting others means making their suffering to completely disappear. So if you have access to the minds of others, where you can see the negative karma that they created, and therefore, if they continue creating more and more negative karma, they're going to continue suffering. And I want them to be free from suffering. Me having that aspect, that quality, the best tool I can have. So Rinpoche used to have manifest these qualities sometimes to some people, and it was just mind-boggling, like mind-blowing. Because he used to say, how he knew that? You know, when he said to me, you need to, leave because in 6 months, like in 6 weeks, something might happen. And I said, and I remember saying, oh, I hope that he said, oh, you have life obstacles, so it's very good if you leave from Oseling and all of that. And I remember saying, oh, I hope they are not so bad, Rinpoche. And Rinpoche said, I hope you don't die. And I remember feeling, ugh, and I remember that I had two feelings over there before Rinpoche said that. I had a very fun experience that I was driving the car, and Oseling is this in the mountains in the south of Spain. Nobody knows, but the highest mountain is actually in the south of Spain. It's called the Mulhacén, which is the part of the Sierra Nevada, which is close to Granada. Beautiful, beautiful area. But this place is like in the middle of nowhere. So you go like into this little road, and then you take a dirty road, and you go up in the mountain. And so we used to have these old car, and I remember once I was picking up and bringing some wood to one of these places because there's no electricity, there's no like anything, so everything is solar panels, and we have like wood stoves and all of that. Very, very special. And I remember that I was going backwards, and I could feel that the car did like this by itself. And after I think I remember Rinpoche kind of like indicating that maybe I would have an accident. So he could see that. I could see that these could actually happen because of different energy, different things, like also. So I could see that this could happen. So I said, wow, how precious and how fortunate I was that I had someone like Rinpoche in my life. So we can be this for others. That's what I'm saying, all of this, to encourage us and not forget that we can be like that for others. All of you. So we just need to practice. And one of the main important practices, don't follow the mind of desire. Don't follow the 8 worldly concerns. Don't think only about you. Right? Start from there. Start from where you are. Then we can slowly open our hearts slowly. So that's why I say that even the vows, I was explaining about the vows, but the vows first need to think about me and understand how these minds make me suffer. If I understand that, then I renounce these minds. I don't want to follow them anymore. That's what real renunciation means. Real renunciation is not becoming monk and nun. There's nothing to do. What we are renouncing, the mind. I'm renouncing following my self-cherishing and or trying to renounce them. That's what I'm trying to do, right? So with the vows, they help me in this. And once you do that, then you start to develop a more open heart. Because you say, wow, if I am suffering like this, everybody around me is suffering like that. So the heart starts to open, you start to want to help others. So then your life becomes purposeful. You have a purpose. You have an intention. You have a meaning. You have a motivation to live. And instead of like this, we don't become bored. Because we have so many people suffering in so many ways, you can help so many ways that you need to actually you want to do it fast. Then you have the tantric vows, right? So it goes like this. Everything has a meaning, has a point, has a logic behind. So you want to manifest, and then the idea of the Buddha is that you can manifest. That's why we see all of these, that you can manifest in different ways. So that's what we want, because like that Chenrezig, 1,000 arms Chenrezig here on top of the Dalai Lama, here on top of the Dalai Lama. Yes, this one. He has 1,000 arms. That's why he's a Buddha of compassion. Why he's the Buddha of compassion? Because he wanted to help sentient beings so much that he created 1,000 arms to give a hand to all sentient beings. And each hand has an eye to indicate that he's always there watching over sentient beings. Very beautiful. Very beautiful this. And we can become like that. We can do that for others as well. We need to believe in our own potential. So we went like this to the same point that we started. We need to believe in our own potential. That is what this book, How to Practice Dharma, is all about. Is that if we understand our own potential, then we start to train our minds to let it go of self-cherishing, letting go of following the mind of attachment. Because that was actually create all our sufferings and our problems. Just that mindset that is there. So that's what we can do. Okay, good.
I just remember one thing from the book.
Yes.
I think it's from the book. It says, if you desire happiness, abandon desire.
Yes. Less desire, more happiness. I think. Isn't that? How do you say?
If you desire happiness.
If you desire happiness,
Abandon desire.
abandon desire. Yes. Yes. It's true. It's exactly this. That is the. If we want to, how to say, summarize the entire book, then. Next time you come and you give teachers, because then it's just that. Then we all go home soon. Then that's easy. People don't need to. And you people online, do you have any questions or anything to say? No?
I have a question, if we have
Yes,
time.
Deepa, please. Yes, we have.
How do, and I know the book speaks, the book on the Lamrim speaks about how to
Mhm.
deal with guilt, but would you speak a little bit about that?
About how to deal with guilt.
Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Okay. So first we need to identify what guilt is. And guilt is a wrong view of ourselves. It comes as an idea that guilt, we did something wrong and we completely over exaggerate that wrongdoing into we are bad people. That's what guilt is about, right? And guilt is a very selfish mindset because it's thinking, even though, like, we can say, oh, but I did something wrong to someone and I feel very guilt about that. But normally we are feeling guilt because we are feeling that people will not like us, that we are not going to be accepted, that we are not going to be. It's all about us. This is guilt. What is a health sense of guilt is what we call regret. And regret is the opposite mindset of guilt. Regret is something that comes by understanding how we created that negative action, how we created that negative situation. And that negative situation was done because we followed our mind of desires. We follow our negative minds. And therefore, I can transform it. I did something wrong, but it doesn't mean that I am wrong. That is it. Thank you. Good night. That is very different. I am not a bad person. I did something wrong, but I did something wrong because I followed the negative emotions, which I might not even be aware of that, right? But doesn't mean that I cannot change. So I use that regret as a way of wanting to change. Guilt doesn't want to change. Guilt makes us crystallized in a situation and just feeds us in a negative loop of self-guilt and self-criticism and whipping us down. So guilt is a negative tendency, an emotion. Regret, very positive one. Helps make sense?
Yes, thank you.
Thank you, dear. Thank you so much. Okay, so if nothing else, we're gonna do our dedications, which are very important, as we always know. I think I covered most of what I wanted today. Wow. I'm becoming much more organized.
I'm getting good at this.
Exactly.
Disorganized.
I was not disorganized. Just all over the place. So I have ideas. What we're gonna do? So we're gonna dedicate, and dedication means it's kind of like it's a seal, as I was saying, as I was explaining the other day. I can't remember in which class I was saying that, but I was saying, motivation is we are opening the hole. Doing the practice, we are planting the seed. and dedicating is closing the hole and putting some water, so something can come out of that. So we need to be very careful with the intention. Why? Because the intention is going to decide which seed we're going to plant. Because depending on the intention, we can plant a sunflower seed, a rose, a beautiful thing, or like orange tree, something that will give something to others. Or we can plant a, a poisonous plant that will kill us and all, every people that touch it, right? So that is why it's so important. And then once we created then a positive intention in the beginning, we need to seal it. So then we can make sure that it's gonna like come, arise, sprout as a positive thing. So everything that we've done today, definitely, if we created with that idea of helping ourselves so we can help others, wanting to be a better human being, as as Luciana was saying about Madre Teresa, wanting to heal ourselves so we can feel this strong calling, let's say like this, inside of us. Not only a calling in a devotional way, but standing that we have, right? Wow, we can do that. Doing this, then we dedicate all of this that we heard, everything that we talked, everything that we asked, everything that it came, to us, everything that we contemplated, that we meditate, everything for this end, for these to come about very quickly, so sentient beings can benefit from these actions, right? It's very important that we do that. So we're gonna start on
46 is, you doing, is that?
No, I want to do this after the other ones. I think it's 240,
It would be 235.
235, yes, maybe. The general one,
General dedication.
235. But yeah, yes. Enter.
244 and 246.
But are you sharing with them?
Oh.
It's just for them to make she's already there. She's already sharing. No.
Oh, somebody else is sharing?
Yeah, Nana is there. Nana came.
Okay.
Wow, thank you, Nana. Remove my pin over there. Remove my pin. Yes, thank you. So,
This bigger?
and I don't know how to do this. Let me check it out. View over there.
That's
Right.
sharing on your screen?
No, on everybody's screen. Go over there on the view. Up there, recording, please. Up there. Yeah. And then if you put standard, yes, so then people can see it.
Yeah, the screen.
Thank you, Jack. You are becoming I said to you,
I learned something new tonight.
you're already the king of the water balls. Now you're becoming the king of the IT here. Yeah.
Fingers.
So in order for us to achieve these, this potential that we all have to nourish and to make sure that we can develop it to the best of our ability to help others and the fastest as possible, so sentient beings can stop suffering, we dedicate for this. So and we dedicate for that all the wars, famine, all the difficulties, situations, problems, all the fighting, all of the economic problems, all of the social problems, family problems, relationship problems, all of the, the natural disasters and environmental problems that we have in the world, all of these which is created by the mind of the self-cherishing and the mind of the eight worldly concerns, eight worldly dharmas. So we dedicate that everything that we've done here may generate a positive outcome. So all of these sufferings can be eliminated right here and right now. And we dedicate that all beings and every sentient being and every people in this earth, every person in this world can actually have a loving mind, having whatever they desire in a positive way, not only whatever they desire in a grasping way, but whatever they desire on a human way, let's say like this, in a humanity way, to help others, to wanting to benefit others. So if they desire that, may they accomplish that as well. And we dedicate for our teachers. Without them, we would not be here. We would not even hear about the word Dharma, the word potential, the word, like desire and negative emotions would just be trapped in our own little lives. So, due to their kindness, especially the kindness of His Holiness the Dalai Lama, so for his long life, we dedicate. And we dedicate for Lama Zopa Rinpoche to come back very, very, very soon. And for all our personal teachers, for them to have a long and healthy lives and continue helping others. And we dedicate for places like Thubten Kunga Ling Center to continue having all of the necessary conditions to spread and connect people with the Dharma. So then people can learn, study, contemplate, and meditate until they achieve enlightenment. So we dedicate. Due to the merits of these virtuous actions, may I quickly attain the state of a Guru Buddha and lead all living beings without exception into that enlightened state. May the supreme due bodhicitta that has not arisen arise and grow, and may that which has arisen not diminish but increase more and more. Just the brave Manjushri and Samantabhadra to realize things as they are, I dedicate all these merits in the best way to follow their perfect example. I dedicate all these roots of virtues with the dedication praises the best by the victorious ones, thus gone of the 3 times, so I can perform good works. I dedicate whatever virtues I have ever collected for the benefit of the teachings and of all sentient beings, but in particular for the essential teachings of the pure Lozandrapa to shine forever. Now we go to 246, please, Nana. So kind. And this prayer is very beautiful. May all beings everywhere, plagued by sufferings of body and mind, obtain notions of happiness and joy by virtues of our merits. May no creatures so commit evil or ever fall ill. May no one be afraid or belittled with a mind weighed down by depression. May the icy forms and the deaf hear sounds. May those whose bodies are worn toil be restored on finding repose. May the naked find clothing, the hungry find food. May the thirsty find water and delicious drinks. May the poor find wealth. May those weak with sorrow find joy. May the forlorn find hope, constant happiness, and prosperity. May there be timely rains and bountiful harvests. May all medicines be effective and wholesome prayers bear fruit. May all who are sick and ill quickly be free from their ailments. Wherever diseases there are in the world, may they never occur again. May the frightened cease to be afraid, and those bound be freed. May the powerless find power, and may people think of benefiting each other. For as long as space remains, for as long as sentient beings remain, so until then may I too remain, to dispel the miseries of the world. So we go to 244 for the long life prayer of His Holiness the Dalai Lama. Actually, he might start giving teachings in America. So let's check that. If he is, we're all going up to New York. In the lands circled by snow mountains, you are the source of all happiness and good. All-powerful Chenrezig Tenzin Gyatso, please remain until samsara ends. Now the long life prayer of Lama Zopa Rinpoche, 234. Yes. Yeah, this one. Peerless teacher and assembly of the children of the victorious ones, Shravakas and Pratyeka Buddhas, victorious Losam father and sons, along with the lineage masters, all the other objects of refuge of infinite lands, please bestow Please bestow the virtue of goodness of accomplishing this prayer here and now. Holding and spreading the Muni's precious and complete teachings through explanation and practice, you are the armor of patience that is never discouraged. Incomparable, venerable Guru, to you I make request. While striving single-pointedly for the sake of the victorious ones, the sole gateway to reach all benefit and happiness and merge, and from other living beings, you suddenly departed to peace. What a great loss. Nevertheless, through the undeceiving truth of the blessings of the oceans of the three Jews and the waves of bodhicitta of the children of the victorious ones, may the smile of her incarnation swiftly beam in glory for fortunate disciples. Thank you very much. Thank you so much.
Wonderful.
Thank you so much. Thank you, Nana. Thank you, everybody. Esther, Lucas, Deepa, Tao. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you. Thank you, Nana, again for being so kind, being there. Good night.
Thank
Thank
you.
Good
And
night.
thanks everybody. Have a
Thank
good
you.
evening, you people.